Hi, Michelle here. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and do some things that really need to be done. I'm going to do some potting up of some cuttings that have been rooting for, well, let's just say a very long time. I have quite a few, I think about 9 or 10 of them. So I thought what we would do today is just go ahead and pot these up into some self-watering pots and just go ahead and do some chatting and see where we're at today and just kind of go from there. Today I'm going to go ahead and change things up a little bit. In all of my videos in the past, I've been putting plants in pond. Um, I've had great success in pond. I've had some failures in pond. I'm going to go ahead and try something a little different now. I'm going to go ahead and try putting my Hoyas in a chunky mix of cocoa husk, a little bit of pine fir bark, uh, chunky perlite, and some charcoal, and a little bit of soil just to hold it all together. I'm going to use this in regular pots. I'm going to use this in some self-watering pots and see how that goes. I'm going to go ahead and switch to this because I have noticed, and I will not say that this is my own original, this is not my original observation. This came from Miro from Basie Plants First. I noticed that my plants, my Hoyas, when they got to a certain stage, they just kind of stopped growing and kind of declined. When I got to the 5-inch pot stage, they just kind of got to a certain stage and then stopped. When the plant got too big for the pot, the roots just kind of got all root bound, and then the pond kind of got real sludgy at the bottom, and that just kind of ended up rotting the roots. So you had like this mass of roots with rotted roots intermixed between, and it was just kind of a not a good situation. So it created a situation where you had some messed up roots with a very large plant. And that's not a situation you want to have. You don't want to have to restart a giant plant with no roots. So I am going to try a soil mixture, an organic mixture again. I'm going to try and start this with cuttings so that they are native, so to speak, to the mix, and we're going to see how it goes. It's not like I've never grown in soil before. It's, I only started growing Hoyas in pond within the last 2 years. So I, it's going to be an adventure. We're going to see how it works out, and hopefully we'll do this together and see how it goes. If you liked today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That really lets me know if you like this video and the direction I'm going with my content. If you'd like to see more plant content kind of in this vein, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you'd like to ask a question or give some input to this subject, please make a comment down below. I do like to interact with my comment section, so I will get back to you. And now on with the first Hoya. Before I do anything, I do want to show you what my chunky mix looks like. This is the mix. It's got a lot of cocoa husk. It's got a little bit of bark. It's got a little bit of soil, and it's got some really chunky perlite. It's in this giant bin next to me. So I'm hoping that, the plants really like it a lot. So I think the first plants I'm going to pot up will be these Hanhiae cuttings. I have a couple of them. I think they're all Hanhiae. I do, yeah. I have a little polyneuria in there, but we'll just put that one back. Now these were cut off of a main plant. Oh, and look, that polyneuria has already got roots. What do you know? This polyneura's got roots too, but the stem's squishy. See, we got this one. I wonder if I could put these up for sale. Probably not. Nobody's buying it right now. Oh, that's a nice one. Look at that. Look at that. Wow, look at those roots. Holy moly. And then there's this really wonky one. And there's this wonky one, which definitely wouldn't be for sale. There's this one, which produced this tiny little leaf. This is a good looking one. This is a good looking one. Ooh, this one's a nice one. Got a little bit of edema on it, but still, look at that. Wow, that's a nice one. And wow, that is a monster. That is a really nice one. I think, and then there's this one. I think that some of these could be put up for sale. Maybe. And the ones that are not are definitely too small for a 4-inch net pot that I got out. Definitely too small for a 4-inch net pot. These definitely need like a 5-inch net pot. So it looks like I got 3 cuttings that could definitely be for sale, and then 4 cuttings to pot up. That looks about right. And then we got a couple polyneuria. Has some crappy roots, but they'll go back in the water. So I'm going to put these back in the water for now until I get some pots for those, because those I think I could sell. I don't know. What do you think? Think I could sell these? They look good. So we're going to pot up these 3, and we're going to use a 4-inch net pot. And the net pot, the one I chose, already has a string in it, a wick. So we're going to do easy peasy. We're going to put a tiny little bit in the bottom. You know how this goes. Sometimes it's hard getting these in here just right. Okay. Then we just fill her on up. Kind of pat it into place. Don't worry about getting all the residue dirt on the pot. It'll we'll just throw that all away, because all we care about is the chunky stuff, because that's what's gonna keep our plant happy. And I'll give it a little shake or a little squeeze just to make sure everything is all down and pat. Okay, it looks good. And we'll water it in at the sink when we're all finished. And so there we are. There is our Hanhiae cuttings all potted up. Number 1, all done. Cutting number 2 is one that I was very upset about because I thought it was a goner. And thankfully it wasn't. And that is my Gunung Gading. These are 2 cuttings that thankfully did very, very well in water. I am going to cut this stem because this stem is very soft. As you can see, let me hold it close. Can you see that stem where this part here, it's very red, but right here, it's brown and there's no roots. So I'm going to cut right here. And you can tell it's dead because it just folded right off. Uh-oh. Huh. It's actually 3 cuttings now because this part broke off from this part. I didn't know I had 3 cuttings, but apparently I do. Or it made itself 3 cuttings. That's interesting. Well, now I have 3 cuttings. So we'll pot these up. Let's go ahead and grab another net pot. This one's got a very long wick in it. So we'll just kind of pull the wick up a little so it can go into the net pot a little. As if you can, let me hold it. You can see that the wick goes up inside the net pot a little. We'll put some dirt in that, and then we'll see how this goes. These 2 are smaller, so I'll have to okay. And these 2. Now, I guess you're probably wondering, why did I decide to switch from using pond with my Hoyas to going back and using this? And the answer is a few reasons, actually. The start of the reason why was my undulata. I'll see if I can put up the video or the link to the video here. But what happened was I was working with my undulata, and the whole stem, like I showed you with here with this Gunung Gading, Gunung Gading, I'll get that right. It rotted away, and I couldn't. I tried to save it, but ultimately it ended up dying, and that was very upsetting because it was a wish list plant. It's hard to get. I got it locally, and that's not something I'll be able to do again. And so it was very disappointing for me. So I tried very hard. I did almost save it, and then when I got ill and I couldn't look at my plants for about 2.5 months, almost 3 months, I had it in a plastic bag to reroot. And unfortunately, it went straight from reroot to yellow rot, and all the leaves dropped off. So there wasn't anything I could do. I looked in the bag, and it was a goner. So now I have the Gunung Gading, and with its 3 cuttings, and I will go ahead and water it in later. The important thing is just to make sure these nodes stay out of the pot. So I'll have to, when I go to water and this substrate kind of settles in, I will go ahead and make sure that those are all staying out of the mixture. And that's number 2. All right, onwards and upwards. Now we're going to go ahead and do this species Bahoi. And I'm not really changing it so much as I am putting it in a different substrate. This one is in tree fern fiber right now, and the tree fern fiber dries out really fast. And as you can see, and God, look at this. Look how dry this is. It's like dust. So this poor thing has terrible roots. These poor roots are probably dry rotted. Oh my gosh, and it's got mites. Does it have mites? It's got mites too. Oh my God. It's got flat mites too. Look at the back. All right, so these roots don't appear to be dry rotted, but we will hopefully get them into a mix that is is better for what it wants to be. But back to why I decided to put my plants back in organic mix is I was sitting here and looking at my plants and repotting my plants, and they were doing okay, but they had reached a plateau and they weren't doing anything else. And I was wondering why. Here's my species Bahoi, which needs to be treated. So we will put that one off to itself. All right, next one is, which has too short of a wick, so we'll cut a new one. But I was having these failures when other people were having these successes. And I was wondering what is the difference between these people's successes and my failures, and what can I do about it? And the difference is these people were using soil. And I said, well, you know what? As great as pond was for me to start to get used to watering plants and taking the time to, or if I don't have time to water plants, the pond will give me a cushion to kind of save me. Um, you know, it's it did its purpose, but now it's time for me to do something else, and I am. So now I'm trying something else. Now I'm trying soil again, or a chunky soil where it's just got just enough soil to hold it all together. So these are my Irina cuttings. And this is a beautiful plant. I got 2 peduncles. I'll show you in a second. There's peduncle number 1. And here's peduncle number 2. Oops. And we're gonna put in just a little bit of chunky mix. Set in, because all these are really tall. This one actually probably needs this one probably needs a 5-inch pot. Yeah, this one really needs a 5-inch pot. What do I do? Well, we'll put it in the 4-inch pot for now. Sorry, I'm not talking. I'm trying to arrange these. This one's kind of wonky and upside down. I hate when they're upside down. They never look good. There we go. Got that one in place. Stay, damn it, stay. So we will see how my Hoyas will do in a chunky mix. I'm hoping they do really well. I'm thinking they'll do well. You know, especially the ones that came from water rooting. You know, they don't, you know, just like my family would say, they don't know no better. So they know no other life. They don't know a life in ponds. So, well, technically they do, but you know what I mean. They're cuttings. There is my Irina. A little bit of an ugly duckling right now, but once it grows, I think it's going to look really beautiful. All right, we're moving right along. The next one is a plant that I had totally destroyed, and that is my sigillatis. I had to end up cutting the whole plant apart. Let's break these cuttings up and see what we have. We have this very long one. We have this one with some new growth, so that's very nice. We have this a little bit wonky one, but it's got some nice roots. Wow, we have the kind of the mother one I kept all by itself. Got some roots. a very long one with some roots, and then the one with the most roots is not actually that big. But I think it has a peduncle right there. I do believe it does. Wow. Okay, so we're going to put this. I was thinking I was going to put them in here, but I don't know if that's going to be big enough. These stay small, so I think I can make them all fit. Yeah, I think I can make them all fit. These are all wonky. I mean, major wonky. Okay, and then this last one, this very large leafed one. Okay. I got a little upside down. And let's top her off. What else can I talk about? Because I'm a little silent right now, and I apologize for that. Honestly, I'm thinking about a phone call I just had while we were potting up these plants. I got a phone call from one of my doctor's offices, and it was a very frustrating phone call. So I'm doing a lot of thinking about that. I need to pull my head out of that place because sometimes you can kind of have your head in an echo chamber, and those thoughts that frustrate you or worry you or stress you out can just kind of bounce around in that echo chamber and just, stress you out worse. So this is my sigillatis. Oops. This is my sigillatis. Like I said, it's a little wonky right now, but it will work itself in place once I get this watered, and I get once it gets in the cabinet and it starts growing and it starts kind of turning into place. So that is the actually the fifth plant. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is my battery is getting ready to run low. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 more plants to do, so I'm halfway through. I'm going to go ahead and change my battery, and I'll be right back. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and pot up some crassipetiolata cuttings. These, though, I think I want to pot up in, what do I want to do? Because I have a giant plant, and I kind of want to sell these, but putting them in a pot is not really conducive to selling. What I really need is the 2-inch cups. Is what I need for all of these is 2-inch cups, really. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go in, get some 2-inch cups, and I'm going to be right back. Okay, that was actually about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes later. I ended up doing a lot of changing, and actually I found these pots that I actually was supposed to be using instead of the net pots. I had a brilliant idea to use these, especially for plants like this, and well, I'll just use them next time. So the cuttings for the crassipetiolata, putting them in little 2-inch pots like this. Let's see what we think about this. Yep, we can do it. So let's just put tiny little bit at the bottom and situate everything in, especially the roots. Whoop, not like that. And what I'll probably do is this substrate mix is actually very dry right now because it stays outside. This substrate mix just dries out really, really fast. So there we go. Now we have one down. We can sell it now. It looks presentable for selling. And we'll just keep doing that until we finish up. But back to the story, because I don't think I ever finished telling it. Why I'm switching back to an organic chunky mix instead of pond. I'm not giving up pond. In no way am I giving up pond. I'm just finally following the advice of people who know more than I do. Let's just put it that way. My dear friend who got me into Hoyas to begin with, she's always grown in a chunky substrate. She does grow some Hoyas in pond, but it's a very small amount. When she's always given me cuttings, they're always rooted in a chunky mix. Even Hoyas that I can't root myself. So, you know, you'd think I would learn that a chunky mix has some very valuable importance. But I'm learning now, let's see, 5 years into growing Hoyas. I finally learned my lesson, but what can you do? You know, sometimes it takes a long time for an old dog to learn new tricks. This one's kind of got air pocket in it, so let me kind of swoosh that out. But I think these will probably sell pretty good. They look good. I think they look good with their chunky mix now. So I'll water them and then we'll put them up for sale and see what happens. So there's 3 crassipetiolata cuttings. These cuttings, we're back to the Hanhiae cuttings. We'll take a look at them with the with the little 2-inch pots. Yeah, that's probably not going to work. We need something larger. I really need a larger cup. I need a larger disposable cup is what I need. Oh, this one will work though. This one will do. This one won't because this one's too tall. You have to find something for that. But this one will work. Maybe I'll just have to keep that one. God, this thing, look at those roots. God, look how thick those roots are. This thing is going to be nothing but roots. So what I'm doing is, I know you can't see, but what I'm doing is I'm just tucking the roots down in the pot so I can go ahead and, look, that's a lot of dirt, and put this, settle this in between the roots. And then kind of tap the pot and squish the pot to get the soil mix all settled in between the roots, so the roots aren't just stuck together in one big mass. So there we go. We got one beautiful cutting. It's a beautiful cutting. And we will set that aside. It's so heavy. It needs to be watered so it has some sort of heft to the base. And then this one will work too. Okay. So what kind of substrates do you like? What is your favorite one? Do you use all one substrate, or do you use a different substrate for different Hoyas? I know some Hoya growers, they use totally different substrates depending upon where their Hoyas are grown, and I think that's incredible. I vary my Hoya mixes, so to say, a little, but normally it's just soil or pond or chunky mix or a regular mix. That's pretty much all the alteration I do at this time. I've gotten pretty good at taking care of my Hoyas no matter what substrate they are in. Okay, this one seems pretty top heavy. This one is really top heavy. You try putting it down all the way down at the bottom. But, you know, I love experimenting with my Hoyas. I love that there's always something new going on with them, not just new discoveries of Hoyas, but there's always something new in taking care of them, blooming them, you know, just everything about them. So, okay, so here we go. Here's that one. That one definitely needs some sort of trellis. He needs to have his stem wrapped around. So that's that one. Goody. We're moving right along right now. We only have a couple left. The next one is this, and I do believe this is my Illigorum. I think. I can't. Oh, this is all rooted up into one. This may be hard to get apart. As you can see it's all rooted into one piece. When I try to pull apart, they're stuck together. Voiceover Michelle here. My microphone's battery went dead, so for the rest of the video it recorded silence instead of my voice. I'm going to now attempt to finish up this video with some hopefully valuable voiceover information. You'll notice I struggled to separate these cuttings because they were packed into a glass vessel with a narrow neck to root. While it kept the cuttings in close contact with the water at all times at the beginning of rooting, you can clearly see why this isn't a viable long-term rooting solution. I'm going to use a transparent plastic pot for my cuttings. Plastic keeps the moisture in longer, which I need for my desert climate. If your Hoyas don't dry out for an extended time frame, or your ambient humidity is high, then you could pot into something more permanent, such as unglazed ceramic or terracotta, but I like to keep my Hoyas in plastic and later drop them into my decorative pots. But mostly, I like to leave my decorative pots on a rack outside, which makes me feel like I'm plant shopping whenever I go look for pots. Although it looks like I'm struggling with too large of a pot for these cuttings right now, they actually have pretty established root systems and will take off and start growing roots in the mix after just a short acclimation period. A shorter acclimation period if I can manage to keep my plants properly watered. That's the main thing I need to watch out for as I transition my Hoyas to an organic substrate, that I keep the substrate wet enough and that I can get used to watering the plants more frequently than I do with pond, especially in the beginning of the transition phase. And because I keep this substrate bin outside, I need to make sure I dampen the mixture every week or so with fertilizer water. There is nothing harder on Hoya roots than hydrophobic substrate. And here is my Hoya benvergarai. So that's it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed seeing me take these cuttings and turn them into potted plants. It may have been kind of a little bit of a start and stop video for me. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. And until next time, thank you so much for joining me today on this video. And until next time, I hope you have a great day and I hope you have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. It's my son's birthday, so we always laugh that I went into labor on Labor Day. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Until then, goodbye.